A rainy day today has helped out with air quality conditions for today, at least a little bit. Will it help? What will the air quality conditions be like tomorrow? I'm going to let you know here in just a couple moments.
And it's been nearly a week since a Sun Prairie School District staff member was arrested. We'll hear from a former school board member on how situations like this impacted her decision to resign.
And it's been nearly a week since the Green Bay Packers began their training camp. We'll check in with the team to hear how they're shoring up their defense. That's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. A lot of rain out there today, but sunnier weather is on the horizon.
That's right, Alex. What's tomorrow looking like?
Much better in terms of the rain conditions that we had today. We got the sun, as you mentioned, returning tomorrow. A beautiful day overall for concerts on the square. What I was trying to say there in that headline is that we are going to be keeping an eye on that wildfire smoke. So potentially those hazy skies hanging around in the forecast for concerts on the square. But the good news is I don't think that air quality is going to be dangerous enough that it's going to impact concerts on the square, which is certainly good news. Now, we had all of that rain today and plenty of it in some cases here. Our rainfall estimate showing that some places picking anywhere between 1 to perhaps as much as 2 or 3 inches of rain. One rainfall estimate here just north and west of Janesville out towards the Footville area, maybe approaching locally 5 inches with significantly less rain to the north and west of the Dells, as I was mentioning last night. So this precipitation pattern that we had last night in Future Track really did validate across southern Wisconsin. Right now, radar 3000, there's nothing out there. What you see in that green, that's called ground clutter. It's just moisture being picked up close to the ground near the radar. And interestingly, now that the rain has moved out, our current smoke cover, so this is that particulate matter, PM 2.5, coming down from higher in the atmosphere, trying to make it down to the ground. We're all in the yellows and the oranges because the rain has moved out. The rain helps scour out that PM 2.5, that smoke, at least briefly. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track that smoke plume and see how it will filter around the area as we go into Thursday and beyond. That's coming up when you see me in a little bit.
All right, Alex, thank you. Tomorrow marks a week since former Sun Prairie West High School's Dean of Students, Robert Gilkey-Meissegeyer, was arrested.
Months ago, Lisa Goldberry resigned from the Sun Prairie Area School District School Board. She says there have been several recurring situations like this in the district. In 2023, a person reported being assaulted by a former school resource officer, Lamont Crockett, while they were in high school in 2017. Last year, Crockett was sentenced to 4 years in state prison.
Then in 2022, a former middle school teacher, Matthew Quaglieri, was indicted after prosecutors said he used an iPad to film at least 39 boys in the bathroom. Earlier this year, Quaglieri was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison.
And in March or April of this year, Sun Prairie West High School's Human Resources Department allegedly investigated a tip about Gilkey-Meissegeyer having sexual contact with a student, but did not report it to the county or police.
And last Thursday, police arrested Gilkey-Meissegeyer for multiple child sex crimes and referred dozens of charges to the district attorney. Goldberry, the former board member, says these incidents are one of the reasons she stepped down.
We had a resource officer in our school abusing children that both of them have since been convicted, and now this. And then we've had other cases that, fell off, don't know like what really happened, but there was never charges brought.
Gilkey-Meissegeyer is charged with 15 child sex crimes, 2 counts of exploiting a child, and 13 counts of possession of child pornography. The district released a statement saying in part that they are not doing any interviews for legal reasons, but they will release any information that they can.
The man accused of committing arson to give his cat a proper cremation has pled not guilty. Vince Hildestead went missing for a week after allegedly setting his apartment on fire back on May 20th. That fire displaced 5 people in the same building. He is being charged with arson of a building without the owner's consent. Hildestead waived his right to a preliminary hearing, and his next court appearance is scheduled for October 15th.
More than 1,000 pounds of frozen ground beef from Ada Valley Meat Company is being recalled. A consumer reportedly found tiny pieces of metal inside the meat. The FDA says the beef was sent to distributors in 5 states: California, Delaware, Illinois, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. No related injuries have been been reported. Consumers are advised to return that beef to the place of purchase. High Noon is issuing a voluntary recall of its vodka seltzer after some cases were mislabeled as Celsius energy drinks. The FDA says cases of High Noon's beach variety, shipped from July 21st to 23rd, contain cans of its vodka-based seltzer that were mislabeled. The FDA said no illnesses or adverse events have been reported. Among the states affected by this recall, Florida, New York, Ohio, and here in Wisconsin.
Well, due to the rain today, the final Concerts on the Square performance of the season has to be pushed back to tomorrow, but a beautiful day. This week's performance will be Shostakovich and Beethoven. The concert will open with An American City by composer Eric Gould, with a grand finale showcasing Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. And just like on regular concert days, attendees can start setting out their blankets on the King Street corner lawn at 3 p.m. with the street opening for pedestrians at 5. And if you're a fan of cream puffs, carnival rides, and food on a stick, then we have good news for you. The Wisconsin State Fair starts tomorrow as well in West Allis. Organizers hope to once again welcome more than 1 million fairgoers to the State Fair Park Course over the 11-day run. The State Fair is all about celebrating agriculture and other industries paramount to Wisconsin. And a fun fact here, the first State Fair was held in Janesville along the banks of the Rock River in 1851. The fair runs July 31st through August 10th.
It is day 6 of Packers training camp. The team is still going strong.
The Green and Gold are putting a new focus on their defense this season. Senior Packers writer Jason Wilde was at Lambeau Field and has more on the team's new strategy.
The Packers have a new coach on their staff. Well, not new, but a new title for one of the coaches on their staff. His name is Wendell Davis, and he's one of the quality control assistants, but they've nicknamed him the Ball King. And here's why. The Packers are very focused on defense this year in increasing their number of takeaways. Now, it's not like they weren't good at it last season in Jeff Hafley's first year as the coordinator. They had 31 takeaways. That was good for 4th in the 32-team league. But they want more, and the place they think they can get them from is more forced and recovered fumbles. So it's Wendell Davis's job to be the Ball King.
Yeah, so I had the idea before training camp. I wanted to find a way to emphasize it, and there's different ways that I've done it in the past. And I grabbed Wendell and I said, hey, I got some ideas, but I want you to run with this. And, you know, we devised a plan every day to have him get up there, and we chart different things, and we have fun with it, and we have teams, and it's creative. And we decided to call him the Ball King. So they're not allowed to call him Wendell Davis anymore. He's the Ball King. So if you see him, please refer to him as BK or Ball King. But here's what, and we were kind of talking about this yesterday as a staff. Like, he gets up there and he does an unbelievable job, and the guys have fun with it, right? And there's a lot of time in training camp where I think, you know, we're on the guys hard constantly, and we're in the meeting rooms and we're watching film and we're demanding and we're locked in. But then there needs to be all right, catch your breath, let's all have fun together. And he brings that out a lot, and he's doing a really good job. But at the same time, there's an emphasis and there's a seriousness. And the cool part about our guys is they're able to have fun with it, and I think it's bringing them together, but they're buying into it. And you can see that when we go out there and practice. So he's done an unbelievable job, and as fun as it is, it's serious. And, you know, I think if we can continue to do that, I do believe it's going to show up when we start playing.
Jeff Hafley and the Packers defense will be hoping to hear that chant a lot after takeaways from this place right here, Lambeau Field. We will see if that comes to fruition, but they're definitely putting an emphasis on it. And usually in the NFL, you get what you emphasize. That's it from Lambeau Field for today. Don't forget to follow all of our training camp coverage and all of our in-season coverage for free at channel3000.com, and sign up for our newsletter as well. Get all the Packers news delivered directly to your inbox. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks so much, Jason. There's also a special event planned at Lambeau Field this weekend. Mark your calendars. Saturday night is the 24th Packers Family Night. Doors open at 5:30, and the team takes the field at 7.
I think that was Jason's fan club there cheering for him in Lambeau Field. Go Pack, go. After the break at 10, one of America's largest trading partners in Asia could be subject to some heavy tariffs.
Plus, the Fed is leaving interest rates unchanged. How President Trump's recent policies are playing into the decision. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Today, the National Transportation Safety Board began a 3-day investigative hearing.
It comes months after January's deadly mid-air collision between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet. The NTSB's chair addressed crash victims' loved ones, saying the agency is doing all it can to find out what led to the air disaster. There were some tense moments as questions focused on the military helicopter's altitude and the busy airspace around Reagan National Airport.
How much tolerance should we have for aviation safety whenever civilian lives are at risk?
Yes, sir. Safety is critically
No,
important.
I ask you, how much tolerance for safety should there be when civilian lives are at risk?
Sir, in terms of airspace separation, for how much separation should there be between aircraft that are using barometric altimeters?
No, you just told me, I believe, all of this equipment in this manufacturing process is within the tolerances for safety. How much is that tolerance? I think it should be 0.
67 people were killed aboard the aircraft and the helicopter as well, making it the deadliest U.S. aviation disaster in decades. The NTSB may determine probable cause but won't assign blame. Any final recommendations on how to make aviation safer are likely months away.
The August 1st deadline to implement new tariffs could impact one of America's largest allies in Asia. The president says he is ready to impose a 25% tariff on India. The U.S. and India have held multiple rounds of trade talks but have not come to an agreement. And President Trump wants an additional penalty for India buying military equipment and oil from Russia.
We're talking to India now. We'll see what happens. It doesn't matter too much whether we have a deal or whether we charge them a certain tariff, but you'll know at the end of this week.
Meanwhile, Senate Democrats announced they are invoking a little-known law to try to force the DOJ to release all Epstein documents by August 15th. Republicans say the move is likely to trigger court challenges before the Trump administration complies.
As expected, the Fed has decided to leave interest rates alone.
This despite ongoing pressure from President Trump. Bradley Blackburn has more on how tariffs played a role in the decision.
Interest rates for loans on homes and cars will remain high for a while because the Federal Reserve is keeping a benchmark rate unchanged to keep inflation in check.
Inflation has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell and 8 other board members voted to leave rates the same, but 2 members, Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller, wanted a rate cut. The first time in 30 years 2 policymakers have dissented. President Trump also wants cuts.
We should be lowering the rates.
He's been keeping up pressure on Powell, including a visit last week to see the renovation project at Federal Reserve headquarters.
People are pretty much unable to buy housing because the interest rates are too high.
The president points out that new numbers show GDP, a measure of the economy, is better than expected, so he argues rate cuts should follow. But the Fed wants to see if the president's tariffs have a major impact on prices.
Increased tariffs are pushing up prices in some categories of goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen.
Chairman Powell says any future cuts will depend on the economy.
If we start to see prices tick up and inflation on the move, the Fed is not going to act this year. If the inflation looks like it's sort of a temporary in nature, then the Fed is going to look more at the economy and see if growth is slowing down.
It seems like the Fed is sticking with a wait-and-see approach, and it looks like U.S. consumers will have to do the same. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Summit, New Jersey.
And the Federal Reserve's next decision on rates will come in September. Well, it's been a rainy day, but the showers are bringing along much cooler weather.
Yeah, you can feel it out there tonight. Here's Alex with more on what our temperatures will be like in the coming days.
Yes, we finally made it to that point of relief that we were talking about for the past couple of days. 75 for high on Thursday, 77 Friday, 79 on Saturday, and that 80-degree mark tied Sunday and Monday. Won't be till we get to the middle to the latter part of next week as you see our 10-day temperature trend that we're going to actually be getting back above normal. So for a long stretch here, at least a good 5 days, we're going to be at or below normal in southern Wisconsin for our high temperatures. Radar 3000, there's nothing out there anymore. We have a little bit of ground clutter being picked up by the radar. That's that fine blue and green that you see here, but that's not rain that's falling to the ground. Future track show maybe a sprinkle yet tonight, but we're not expecting appreciable amounts of rain or any thunderstorms now for the rest of the night tonight. Interestingly, earlier today, we were in the blue category, meaning less smoke across much of southern Wisconsin. Now that smoke has filled back in from the north and from the west. That's why you're seeing the oranges and the reds, because the rain is gone. The rain was actually grabbing those smoke particles and bringing them down to the ground. And now without the rain, that smoke can filter back in to the atmosphere. And that's part of our weather story, is tracking this smoke plume. So let's start off here, 4 o'clock in the morning, a little bit lower concentration of wildfire smoke with the greens and a little bit of the yellows across southern Wisconsin. As we move a little bit further towards noon, we start to see a little bit more yellow filling in. So we might start to see the haziness in the sky, and you might be able to smell that smoke a bit in the atmosphere at around noon. As we head towards that all-important Concerts on the Square hour, we start to see that smoke filter out a little bit more. We're seeing a little bit more in the blue, a little bit more in the light amount of smoke particles in the atmosphere by the time we get to 7 o'clock at night. And as we go further into Friday, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then noon, we see all blue across southern Wisconsin. And what that means is that wildfire smoke gets pushed off towards the west with northeasterly winds as we go into Friday. So that's certainly good news, but not right now. That is in the unhealthy for some to the unhealthy category. That means if you want to maybe open up those windows, if you're susceptible to the smoky conditions tonight, you might want to keep those windows shut and have that AC on for the rest of tonight until we can get that particulate matter to get down a little bit later Thursday going on into Friday. Maybe you can open up the windows and have some of that fresh air. Temperatures tonight, though, refreshing in the mid to upper 50s, straight around 60 degrees. Cloudy skies will eventually become partly cloudy and then sunny as we go into Thursday, although it will be on the hazy side at times with that wildfire smoke in the atmosphere. And moving further into our forecast here, Concerts on the Square is looking great, but we'll keep that close eye on that wildfire smoke. Hopefully there won't be any impacts to Concerts on the Square, but I think we're going to be okay. And okay temperature-wise, I think that's an understatement. 5 days of beautiful temperatures, and then we start to turn warmer and more humid as we head out to the latter part of next week with the shower and storm chances continuing, or coming back rather. Now, it was a rainy drive up to Sauk City today, up to the Sauk Prairie area, but I had the pleasure, and a shout out to the Sauk Prairie Optimist Club for having me out to talk about weather, and you know I can talk about weather long enough. I have had this passion of mine for over 40 years, starting in Arena, Wisconsin. All I did is watch that tornado scene about 1 million times in The Wizard of Oz and told them to go after their dreams, just like the movie in The Wizard of Oz, that theme that I have followed all of my life, and I learned quite a bit about their club today, and here's what they had to say about their Optimist Club.
But we also deliver Meals on Wheels in the community. We honor every month during the school year one middle level leader and one student of the month in the high school, and they come to our meetings.
It was a pleasure again speaking to the Optimist Club today. Thank you again for having me out, and also for some really good food.
I love the advice to follow your dreams, too.
That's always a mantra of mine.
And a great movie.
Yes, it is.
Thanks,
Alex, thank you. And coming up in sports, the weather didn't stop the Badgers from continuing at training camp. We'll go to Platteville to see how the team is overhauling their offense. Stay with us.
Well, normally when it rains, you reschedule camping plans, but Wisconsin football, it's different. Staying put in Platteville for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you just play on. They won't allow the weather to get between them and getting ready for the season. Our Andrew Banstro is with them this morning in Platteville and tells you about day 2.
I hope you brought a tent, some s'mores, and today probably would be a good idea to have brought an umbrella, because we're back at Camp Platteville for day 2 of Wisconsin football's fall camp. This offseason for the Badgers was all about getting back to their true identity, running the football. But that doesn't mean that Bucky won't be passing the ball too. They have a room full of wide receivers that are as talented as they are ready to prove their value.
If I'm anybody that's playing the receiver position in this offense at this university, I'm more than thrilled and excited for the opportunity.
We're going to be featured in so many ways. It's going to be surprising to a lot, I think. We're going to get back to that nasty, that gritty, that downhill, but we're also going, have fun and spread the field out too.
Tretch Kekahuna says he was 10 hours from committing to another school when Jeff Grimes, the Badgers' new offensive coordinator, called him and convinced him to come back.
We can be a great offense that is not just running the ball. We will be pounding the ball. But at the same time, when we put those backers down, that's when we just start throwing it. And that's when we create a distortion with the defense. And, it's just it's great to be in this offense. I told Coach Grimes this morning I'm happy to be in this offense, and I said a little prayer for him too.
When we first heard it, we were just like, this is what we've been wanting to do all along. I know I came here for this. Freshman year, we were a pro-style offense, so to get away for 2 years was a little discouraging for me, honestly. So when Grimes got hired, I was like, oh yeah, this is my thing.
And for anybody that's still not completely sold on the fact that this offense won't just run the ball, Ohio State transfer wide receiver Jaden Ballard tells me they'll see. Just wait until game day. Signing off from Platteville, Andrew Banstrut, News 3 Sports.
Andrew, thank you. And the Brewers have once again reclaimed the top spot with the best record in the major leagues. And for as much meaning as that holds, really sweeping the Cubs, that would mean a whole lot more. The roof closed. A rainy day in Milwaukee. Freddie Peralta on the hill for the Brewers as they try to complete the sweep. Bottom of the first, though, 2 outs. William Contreras, well, he was pretty much the only form of offense for the Brewers. He ties it up at 1 early with his solo shot to left field. He would hit 2 today. But the Brewers would just stick at 1 run until the bottom of the 4th when Contreras hit his second. But too much offense today for the Cubs, who they go on to win this one, the final game of the series, 10-3. And the Brewers next go to Washington, where they'll play the Nationals on Friday. We'll be right back.
Colbert's all new with Liam Neeson.
Nice legs, by the way.
Oh, let's change the subject.
All right.
All new CBS Tonight.
So how much would you pay to try some Dubai chocolate pancakes? IHOP is capitalizing on this TikTok trend by unveiling buttermilk pancakes infused with Dubai chocolate flavors. That doesn't even look good, by the way.
I'll bet it is, though.
Right? It's topped with a massive Dubai chocolate bar, Madagascar vanilla-infused whipped cream, and a shaving of edible 24-karat gold flakes.
That's where it gets expensive. IHOP says they're worth more than $100.
Wow.
The chain is giving away free tastes of them on Monday at locations in New York, LA, and Austin, Texas. After that, IHOP plans to sell 500 stacks of a pared-down version for just $13 if you have the coupon. No, I'm kidding, no coupon. And that's at those same 3 locations. So you go to New York, LA, or Austin to get those pancakes. So you got to go. You don't go to Dubai, though. You just 3 places here in the States.
To each their own. I just go with the 3 pancakes and a little bit of maple syrup, and I'm good to go.
I agree. Plain. We'll take it.
We got a little cool weather out there tonight. You can feel it.
Yeah, it feels a bit more on the fall side. Patchy fog, a little bit of that tonight. Smoky skies on Thursdays. That smoke clears on out. Pleasant through the weekend. Try near 80 all weekend with low humidity. We made it.
Colbert coming up next. Our next newscast at 4:30.
You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 2000 Plus. Good night.